Welcome to Argentina, Andrew.
Thank you. Thank you,
A
dude.
little less than 2 weeks, and you'll be here first time. Is that right?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
on your birthday.
On my birthday, we're playing Lollapalooza on my birthday, 17th of March, St. Patrick's Day. It's gonna be fun.
Lollapalooza, Argentina. I'm sure you've heard a lot of things about the Argentinian crowd. I'm sure they will sing you happy birthday. No doubt about it. Are you hyped?
I'm hyped. I'm hyped. I'm excited to. I mean, I've never played anywhere in South America.
Mm-hmm.
Never been to Argentina. I hear only beautiful things. I mean, I know it's such a beautiful part of the world, but and obviously audiences are famous the world over. So I'm
Mm-hmm.
excited.
Always like to hear the artist's point of view in performing for 100,000 people, the average in Lollapalooza here in Argentina, versus in a more intimate setting, as a more familiar venue, a smaller venue, a subway station. Your music feels very intimate. Is it challenging, open air, thousands of people versus a more select crowd to express that intimacy?
Yeah, there's definitely you kind of have to read the space and it's harder. I think well, I'll say it's just easier in a small space to play certain more intimate songs. I think and like in a smaller space. What I love about that is that it's nearly conversational. It's like you can have a conversation with the audience in a way that we're just people in the same room. If you're doing a festival, there's this kind of the crowd as an entity is like a different energy. It's like it's a very different experience, and you kind of tailor the set, you tailor the songs, what you're gonna play depending on what the space allows. Yeah, for sure.
About that, I was thinking there are certainly are people that haven't heard more than your most popular songs that will see you for the first time and hear you in depth for the first time in Lollapalooza. I like to find the essentials, perhaps, of every artist for people that want to know a little more before seeing you live. Maybe 3-5 songs from your repertoire that you feel are essential for a first listener.
3 to 5 songs. I would say, I mean, if taking that people might be familiar with if they're familiar with Take Me to Church, Work Song is one of my favorites, from the first record. From the new record, maybe something like Unknown is one of my favorites, or De Selby would be one of my faves. From the
part 1 or 2?
Oh, kind of both, but part 2 maybe. Part 2. And then from Wasteland Baby, maybe something like Would That I, Would That I, or my goodness, yeah, Would That I, Nina Cried Power was an important song for me, and yeah.
You had it kind of from the start. Your debut single was Take Me to Church. It has like 2 billion plays in Spotify only. I heard you mostly recorded that in your parents' attic, so I can group you at least from early years or your start in the home studio crowd. I want to know about now your recording process. Has it changed from that era? Are you still a home studio kind of guy? Have you expanded, or is there an in-between?
There's a kind of an in-between. So on some records, some songs on Unreal on Earth, I had access to studios in LA. I'd never recorded in Los Angeles, but there's these like beautiful old studios, like where I think when we were recording some of the stuff, it's the room where Pet Sounds was recorded. So a place called East West Studios, which is kind of in Hollywood. Incredible rooms that were designed by a guy called Bill Putnam. Bill Putnam he founded Universal Audio, and he basically invented like modern reverb, like how spring reverb works and stuff. Like, he was a sonic genius. So he designed a lot of the rooms in the studio, and so to have access to stuff like that was nuts. But at the same time, like De Selby Part 1, you hear that acoustic, the beginning, the acoustic guitar.
Yeah,
that's just me at home in Wicklow playing acoustic guitar, and like, so there's elements of the record that's just me. I think the vocals for like All Things End is I recorded in my Airbnb, in like, so, and I still travel with the microphone and some of the gear that I recorded like Take Me to Church on. I still have that old 87, and so so the album definitely has elements where it's just, oh, that's just me, you know, recorded back in Wicklow at home. So I do a lot of home recording first, and then sometimes I upgrade the sonics of it later in studio.
Yeah, I found on the opening tracks on your new record, like the Sofi part 1 and 2.
Mm-hmm.
I have there's certainly that feeling of intimacy from your sound, your sound in general, but it feels like the Gaelic perhaps took me off guard. I didn't expect it, and there's certainly an identity thing in your music, and I was like thinking back to the Take Me to Church days, and some of your activism, and some of the perhaps the irony of the song being about religion and prejudice and the Catholic Church or something like that, and being called by the Catholic Church at a time to like, do you want to perform your song, or people not getting the initial meaning. And there was always from the start a thing about identity that is implicit on your material, but you also make it explicit whenever you can.
Yeah, I probably find it hard to sum up what that is. I think there's this lovely line in a Seamus Heaney poem. He's an Irish poet would be a big influence on me. He's kind of a North Star. But the line is I had my time. He's just talking about, you know, I had my time, myself in place, and the place in me. And I think you cannot separate place and time from person. You know, we're all, none of us are living in a vacuum. We're all so our identity is tied into so much. Like my identity is, even whether I'm explicit or implicit, identity is going to be in the work, and maybe some of that is like how all things have a political, in the same way all things have a political dimension, whether you want it to be political, whether you're intending to be referencing something that's political. Of course it has a political dimension. There's nothing more, in some ways there's nothing more political by saying that I'm not a political person, as it's such a political statement. You know?
Absolutely political statement.
You know, it's and it informs. It shows you so much about it can inform so much. So in that same way, I think you cannot separate identity from. It's just, you know, it's from the work, and the experience of the individual's experience and their time and their place from the work. I think sometimes it's implicit, and sometimes it's explicit. And a song like Butchered Tongue on the record, or you know, or the decision to put Irish Gaelic in it, saying these are elements of the world I grew up into, you know.
Well, thank you for your time. It was really good talking to you. You're very open with your answers. So thank you very much. I look forward to seeing you on your birthday performing for the first time here in Argentina.
Thank you very, very much. Thank you. Yeah, we'll see you then.